everyone. My name is Isabella Yakulevsky, and today I am going to share my current findings on why some schools are funded less. This is my table of contents. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, Nelson Mandela. The discourse community I will be focusing on is education. As defined by the National Education Association, the goal of education members is to fulfill the promise of public education to prepare every student for success. Success comes from not only the basic reading and writing skills, but also practical skills that teachers teach. Teachers communicate to meet these goals by having conferences with students, parents, administration, etc. A current issue, however, in education is school funding. Schools are funded based on property taxes, class size, performance on standardized tests, etc. Due to this, it depends on how schools are funded. Source number 1, a journal article titled Adequacy Model for School Funding by Guy Banicki and Greg Murphy states, a rate bill system was used back in the 1900s that treated education as a service, and those who could afford the service would have access, and those less fortunate did not have the same opportunities. Page 2. Since then, there have been many changes. Different models of adequacy have been proposed and used. Some models are based on student performance, district performance, school reform, class size, etc. In this article, some schools are funded less because of those reasons. Source number 2, a journal article titled School Funding, Inequality in District Funding, and the Disparate Impact on Urban and Migrant School Children by Rachel Ostrander states, as the problem of funding disparity grows, so does this unequal distribution of resources in schools, raising the question whether children are being adequately educated, page 272. This source shows that there are school funding issues within low minority schools and are causing social justice issues as well, because today's schools are segregated as of 2015. Source number 3, a journal article titled An Exploratory Analysis of the Equity of Ohio School Funding by Scott Sweetland is represented in Table 1, Selected Statewide Measures of Fiscal Year 2012. Table 1 shows a selected statewide school expenditure per pupil, taxable property valuation per pupil, and district average income variables. The expenditure per pupil for all of the school districts averaged $10,004. The average capacity measures that supported this level of expenditure included $137,071. Taxable property valuation per pupil, and $50,463 district average income. The maximum expenditure per pupil was $21,776, was compared to the minimum expenditure per pupil, $7,425. That comparison resulted in a 3-to-1 ratio. Based on this outset, substantial disparities in expenditure per pupil among school districts were evident. Source number 4, a journal article titled Arizona School Funding and Adequacy of Funding by Rick Wiggle states, 39% agree that local school districts are too reliant on the property tax, page 4. This source shows that there are funding issues in the schools of Arizona. Source number 5, a journal article titled Do Charter Schools Receive Their Fair Share of Funding? School Finance Equity for Charter and Traditional Public Schools by David Knight and Lawrence Tones is represented in Table 1. Resource levels in charter and traditional public school districts. Table 1 shows statistics for charter and traditional public school districts. In Table 1, you can see the average adjusted allotment for charter and traditional public school districts is the same, regardless district size, 6,518. Taking an unweighted average of state and local general fund revenues across districts, charters receive $8,871 per student compared to $9,843 for traditional public school districts. This shows an unequal funding for schools in Texas. All my sources provide information that school funding is an issue. However, looking at my synthesis map, we can see how each source ties in together to answer my question of why some schools are funded less. Ostrander and Wiggle both include information that schools are being funded less because of low minorities. Sweetland, Banicki, and Murphy provide information to showcase also that some schools are funded less because of performance. Additionally, Wiggle, Knight, and Tohnes provide information that schools are being funded less because of taxes. Each source includes research on schools being funded less because of these reasons. The problem within schools being funded less is that it creates an unequal system in education. Some students are given a poor education due to lack of funds. All students, no matter race, location, or test score, should be given an equal and proper education. All students deserve the same opportunity to succeed. Some questions I still have are: how is school funding in 2021? Has it improved? What are ways to make school funding equal? Has there been any new reforms for school funding? Overall, schools are funded less because of low minorities, performance, and taxes. So now what? Due to this, there have been problems within the education community. Teachers aren't being paid enough, students don't have resources necessary for a proper education, many activities and/or extracurriculars aren't offered. The list can go on and on. As a future educator, I will advocate for change. Change is needed, and I am planning to look more deeper into this issue to benefit not only myself but future generations. Thank you for your time.